Hi, everyone. Welcome to Virtues in 5 Minutes or Less. I want to start with a little story. Every year, about May or June, I get this overwhelming urge to throw stuff out, give it away, get rid of it. It's more than spring cleaning, it's really a compulsion. And I was baffled by this for the longest time. And then one day I was reflecting on why. And I realized I live in a part of the world that has hurricanes as part of our annual calendar, unfortunately. And having been through several of them and experienced losses and trauma and everything that goes along with it, I realized that my compulsion to throw things out was because I wanted to choose what got ruined and what went out, not Mother Nature and not the hurricane. So once I figured that out, I realized also it was because I was attached to my stuff, but more importantly and more disturbingly, I was attached to my need to control the situation. So the virtue today we're looking at is the virtue of detachment, because if you want peace of mind, you're going to need that virtue. We all need this virtue. Detachment is that objectivity that allows us to experience our emotions without letting our emotions control us. It's a kind of freedom, really. It allows us to remain calm in the middle of emotional or other kinds of storms. And it also enables us to listen to other people deeply with all our hearts in the way that we should listen, without getting swept up into their drama at the expense of our own lives and peace of mind. If we start to say things like, or we hear other people say things like, I'll never get over it, or I can't live without him or her, or my iPhone, or that job, or whatever, when we start to hear things like that, there is a red flag there that we need to practice that virtue of detachment. How do we learn detachment? We start to develop our detachment muscles when we learn to identify our emotions and then allow ourselves to experience them, but choose how we're going to respond and be guided by our conscience and our principles instead of our raw emotion. Another way that we develop detachment is by asking ourselves questions. So the first one, very important, is why? Why am I sad? Why am I angry? And then we have to answer ourselves with courageous honesty, ruthless honesty. And then the next very important question is, what is it that I'm attached to? And is it bad for me? It might be, and it often is, I have to say, our own ego, our own opinion about something, our own way of doing something. It might also be a desire for some material thing. It might be some long-held belief that may not be true anymore. All of these things can potentially trip us up when it comes to that virtue of detachment. So we have to practice that scrupulous honesty. It does not mean being unfeeling or indifferent. During this pandemic, we need this virtue more than ever. We can't have our own way about everything in a lot of ways these days. We can't choose how we're going to socialize necessarily. We can't travel as freely. We have no idea what the economic consequences are going to be, not just for us, but for the whole world. So there are a lot of things that we're going to have to detach from. One of them also is control, and that's a toughie. The need for detachment has always been a constant, but during this pandemic, we need it more than ever. So be creative. Be grateful for this opportunity and don't let the opportunity pass unappreciated. Thanks for joining me again. I would love to hear your thoughts about detachment, and I want to ask you two questions. One is for your own reflection, and that is, what things are you attached to that may not be serving you well? The other is, what virtues interest you, and what virtues would you like to see examined on our program? As always, if you've enjoyed it, please press the like button and the subscribe button. And if you feel moved, welcome to visit my Patreon page. Thanks so much for your time and attention. This is Auntie Debbie signing off.